I was thinking, what if every dragon-type Pokemon were to fight it out, Battle Royale style? Who would be left standing? Would it be a competitively strong Mon, a Pokemon with high base stats, maybe one of my favorites, one of your favorites, or even no one's favorite? To figure out who is the strongest, I took all 56 fully evolved Dragon-type Pokemon and randomized the order into a bracket. Then I ran calculation after calculation for each matchup to find the strategy that gives each Mon the highest chance of winning. And to make it easier on myself and not have the matches be 20 minutes long, there will be no held items, no EV training, no setup only moves, and no status only moves. But I will be allowing attacking moves that can change stats or have the chance to leave a status condition. With that being said, let us get into round 1 of the Dragon-type tournament. First we have Tyrantrum and Raging Bolt. Loser of this will be the first one out of the whole tournament. And officially, Tyrantrum is not the strongest Dragon-type Pokemon. Next is Eternatus and Rayquaza, two very heavy hitters. Unfortunately for Rayquaza, Eternatus is just that overpowered. Hydreigon and Tatsugiri is next. Although Hydreigon typically a special attacker, Outrage is what gives it the best shot to win this battle. Kyurem and Roaring Moon are next. All Roaring Moon has to do is not get a low roll. Unfortunately, it gets the lowest roll possible and loses in the first round. Next is Origin Form Dialga and Zekrom, two box art legendaries, but as you'll see in this tournament, the Dragon Steel typing is just going to be a force to be reckoned with all tournament long. Zygarde vs. Koraidon is next. For some reason, it does not show it being the complete form, but it does have the stats of the complete form. It doesn't matter anyway. Koraidon's that good. Garchomp and Dragapult is next. Two very fast pseudo-legendaries, but unfortunately for Garchomp, the speed creep in newer generations is too much for it to deal with. Alolan Exeggutor and Kingdra is next. This is the first matchup we've seen without one of the Mons having legendary level stats. Still, Kingdra is able to one-shot. Noivern vs. Regidrago is next. I thought Regidrago had a good shot at winning this whole tournament, but unfortunately, it's just too slow to take advantage of its strong dragon typing. Latios and Gouging Fire is next, and as you can see by the calculation, Latios has about a 50% chance to one-shot, but unfortunately the Draco Meteor leaves the Gouging Fire on 1%. Hydrapple vs. Giratina Origin Form is next, and come on, we know who's going to win this. That was too easy for Giratina. Next we got Goodra vs. Kyurem White, strong defensive Mon versus strong offensive Mon. And yes, being a mix of two legendaries is too much for Goodra. Palkia and Drampa is next. Once again, I think you guys can predict who will win this, and it's Palkia. Zygarde 10% versus Salamence. Both quad weak to ice, but unfortunately they don't get good ice type moves. Zygarde not able to pick up the kill. Salamence does its job. Baxcalibur and Flapple. Baxcalibur has multiple moves to kill this Flapple. It's pretty easy for him. Dialga versus Ultra Necrozma. For some reason, Ultra Necrozma only gave me the choice of two moves, so unfortunately it will not be getting a dragon type move, but it would have lost no matter what. Guzzlord vs. Kommo-o is next, and as you're about to see, this is the first battle that we will see a Pokemon use a second move. That being Kommo-o. Zygarde 50% versus Dragalge. Zygarde has the type advantage, and the speed advantage, and the power advantage. Cyclizar vs. Latios. We saw Latios die very sadly earlier, and now we see Latios die, both out in the first round. Reshiram vs. Miraidon is next. Again, two box art legendaries, but Miraidon is just too fast for Reshiram to keep up with. Turtonator vs. Palkia Origin Form. Again, I think you guys can predict who wins this. Both Palkias getting very easy early round matchups. Dredagon versus Dracozolt. Does anyone actually care who wins this matchup? I don't think so, but it will be Dracozolt. Next is Duraludon versus Hisuian Goodra, two Steel Dragon types, both with strong type advantages in this tournament, but one of them will be having to leave early in this first round, and that will be Hisuian Goodra. To end out the first round, we got Flygon versus Appleton. Flygon, unfortunately, not able to get the crit, and it will die to one Draco Meteor. With round 1 done, we move on to round 2. To start off round 2, we got Raging Bolt and Eternatus. And if you haven't realized already, Eternatus is very strong. Next we got Hydreigon and Kyurem. Hydreigon's got a shot here, a pretty good shot actually, to kill with a Draco Meteor. Hits it, but leaves Kyurem at 2%, causing it to lose in the second round. Dialga Origin versus Koraidon. As a Dragon Steel type, the last thing you want to see is either a Dragon Fighting or a Dragon Ground type, especially a fast one. Koraidon wins. Next is Dragapult and Dragonite. Dragapult actually needs a flinch here to win, as it cannot one-shot with Dragonite's multi-skill ability. It does not get the flinch and loses to Dragonite. Kingdra and Noivern is next. Noivern just needs to hit this Draco Meteor, but it misses. First miss of the series, allowing Kingdra to hit the Icy Wind and outspeed in his next turn and move on to the third round. Next we got Gouging Fire and Draco Vish. Gouging Fire hung on by 1% in the first round. Will it be able to have that same luck again? And it does, getting the one shot on Draco Vish. Giratina Origin and Kyurem White is next. Kyurem White just needs to hit this Draco Meteor to win, and it does, knocking out Giratina. Haxorus and Naganadel are next. Neither of these Mons played in the first round, as they both had buys, but Naganadel is just too strong and fast for poor little Haxorus. Kyurem Black and Palkia up next. Again, two heavy hitters. Palkia shockingly outspeeds, to my knowledge, and one-shots Kyurem Black. Salamence and Baxcalibur is next. All Salamence needs to do is not get a low roll on this Outrage, and it gets the lowest roll possible, similarly to Roaring Moon, its predecessor in the first round. Baxcalibur wins. Next is Giratina and Dialga, two base form Gen 4 legendaries. These two actually have the same speed, so it is a speed tie. Neither are able to one-shot, but Dialga is able to hold on and even take a second hit if it needed to, but it outspeeds and kills with the Outrage. Next we got Kommo-o and Zygarde. Dialga definitely doesn't want to see one of these two in the next round, as they both have the super effective type advantage. Zygarde able to live the hit and activate the Power Construct ability, and that will be too much for Kommo-o to handle. Now we got Cyclizar and Walking Wake. Cyclizar probably the biggest upset in the first round. Will it be able to keep going? It does not. It cannot get the flinch nor the one-shot, and it loses to Walking Wake. Next is Miraidon and Palkia Origin form, and as you'll see, the biggest advantage in this tournament is being very strong and very fast, both of which Miraidon has. Dracozolt and Archaludon is next. Archaludon, shockingly fast, outspeeds the Dracozolt and is able to one-shot. Altaria and Appleton finish off the second round, neither of which are strong enough to one-shot each other or have good ice coverage. Altaria, though, is faster and is able to pick off Appleton. And now, I ask you to join me in a moment of respect as we honor those who were not able to unleash a single attack in this tournament. Alright, enough of that. Let's get into round 3. Eternatus and Kyurem will start off this round, two late game legendaries, but Eternatus has the advantage of being from a later gen and getting that power creep advantage. Eternatus wins. Koraidon and Dragonite is next. Dragonite's going to need some luck here, as it needs a very high roll on this Outrage to be able to one-shot. And it actually gets the high roll, defeating Koraidon. Kingdra and Gouging Fire is next. Kingdra probably a sleeper to have made it this far, but it ends here for Kingdra. Gouging Fire wins. Kyurem White and Naganadel is next. You can see how frail Naganadel is by seeing that Kyurem White's Draco Meteor would do over 200% to it. Kyurem White wins. Palkia and Baxcalibur is next. Once again, Palkia surprisingly with how fast it is and is able to one-shot the Baxcalibur. Now we got Dialga and Zygarde 50%. Ground type is definitely what Dialga does not want to see, but luckily it gets to live one hit and fire back with a quad effective Ice Beam. Walking Wake and Miraidon is next. 2 Gen 9 very strong Mons, but we see Miraidon is just special. Our Charladon and Altaria to finish out the round. We actually see 2 Mons that are not legendary, and our Charladon easily clears Altaria. We're down to our final 8 Pokemon in this round 4. First is Eternatus and Dragonite. Dragonite gonna be able to live one hit from Eternatus, but would need a high roll on both its Draco Meteor and E-Speed. Unfortunately for Dragonite, it does not get the high roll on both of them. Gouging Fire and Kyurem White is next. Gouging Fire has had a pretty easy run so far, but that ends here. Kyurem White wins. Palkia and Dialga is next. The Gen 4 box art legendaries facing off against each other. Dialga with the type advantage just needs to hit this Draco Meteor, and he misses, choking in the final 8, causing him to fall out of this tournament. Miraidon and our Charladon finish out the final 8. Our Charladon's typing allowing it to live a hit from every Mon so far, but that doesn't include Miraidon, able to still one-shot with the Draco Meteor, despite it being neutral. Now let us start the semifinals of the Dragon-type tournament. The first matchup is Eternatus and Kyurem White, 2 Mons with the highest base stats in this whole tournament. How will it end? Eternatus still too strong and defeats Kyurem White. The second matchup we got is Palkia versus Miraidon. Although Palkia has surprised me with its speed this tournament, it is not faster than Miraidon. Miraidon wins. Now we are on to our finals. Only 2 Mons left. We got Eternatus on one side, Miraidon on the other. Both very strong and fast legendaries from the newest generations. But it's time for Eternatus to finally go down. Oh no. Miraidon misses the Draco Meteor in the finals, giving the win to Eternatus, meaning Eternatus is our official champion and is the strongest dragon Pokemon. Can't believe that happened. But enough of you, Eternatus. I just wanted to get on here and say thank you if you watched this far. This is my first YouTube video ever, so I'll gladly take any feedback you have, critiques, suggestions. Please send them my way. Thank you for watching.